The Backdoor GAA Podcast for 2023 is now brought to you by Steede Motor Group. For your personalised vehicle shopping experience, visit steedemotorgroup.ie. We are now delighted to announce our second sponsor of the podcast. Harper Finlay are a professional service recruitment company operating nationwide and are dedicated to helping people find their dream job.
We're okay, yeah. In good shape, yeah.
So the injury concerns are...
They're dropping off. They're getting less and less for the day, so it's great, yeah.
How's it going in Portugal?
Good, yeah. A great week of it. Good 5 days training, so... I think within camps, you probably get as much work done in the 5 days there as you would at home, and probably 2 to 3 weeks working, which is great.
And could you bring all the squad for that?
Yeah, everybody went, yeah. Did you hear otherwise, no?
No.
You're pretty much a clean bill of health now, bar the long termers.
Bar the couple long terms, yeah, we're probably okay, yeah. It's great, like. Championship normally does that. When championship comes round, the injuries drop off a little bit quicker. It's great.
Come here, like, what have you worked on since the league final was too much? You had to focus on it?
Worked on a lot of stuff ourselves, because we were disappointed in the league final, the way we performed and finished out the game. But we just worked on it, and when away after we just worked on totally ourselves because we didn't know who we were playing. So we just worked on our own skill sets, our own principles of the game, really, our defending, finishing, and all that kind of stuff. So that was it really for the week, yeah. Just for focusing on ourselves.
Nice to have that break as well when at the championship, like, the calendar, like, Mayo weren't afforded that, but you got to go in and do some solid work.
Yeah, I heard they can have it now. I heard they're gone this week, so
yeah.
Look at it. We looked at it last October, November, that we were lucky enough when the draw was made. We had a 3-week break out from the league to get a week there where we could get a bit of work into the lads, which was great, even for the lads to get away and just recharge the batteries as well. It wasn't all, we weren't all training out the full 5 days, 24/7 ranting, so the lads enjoyed it as well, and I think we came back definitely refreshed in a better place, yeah.
What did you make of the Mayo Roscommon game?
Just the conditions kind of, didn't make it an appealing, attractive game. Like, but look, we knew ourselves as management that it was a 50-50 game, like, and look, it turned out that way, and a lot of people probably would expect Mayo to win it, but we ourselves as management knew that we didn't focus on any of them, didn't mention any team until the game was over because we didn't know who we were preparing for. So once we got home, we had a lot of work done on Roscommon now since last Tuesday, so we're in a good spot.
Reflecting back in the league as a whole, Padraic, you must have been happy. I know disappointed obviously to lose the final to Mayo, but overall.
I would overall, like, for a county, we're very happy with the way it worked out. Like, we're missing a couple of key men at the start of the year inside, and a couple of injuries as well, but we got to look at the squad and test the lads that was there, which is great. So at least we know now, like, there's definitely in our eyes, there's 5 or 6 of them that we wouldn't have probably thought before the league mightn't be, have got game time, have got good game time, and we know that they'll be able to fill a jersey and with distinction if we called upon the championship. So we definitely found 5 or 6 players we thought we wouldn't have got so early in their careers, but some great young lads are coming through. So overall, very happy with the league, yeah.
For the long term, that's key, the fact that you probably gave the game time to maybe 33, 34 players.
Yeah, I think we're probably 3 overall, which out of 40, which is brilliant, like, so look at again, there's a couple of great young lads there, like Sean Fitzgerald has got a bad injury last year, came back this year, played really well. Keane Hernan has had 2 horrendous years of injuries, but he's got game time in again now. Even Johnny McGrath getting in and getting game time, and it's great to get Peter Cook back as well and get game time into him. John Maher has been revelation for us in the middle of the field, so it's great, like, yeah, they're all extra bodies we thought we wouldn't have, so it's great.
But just with the goal chances you created in the league final, is there a particular area you zoned in on over the last few days?
Look, we weren't really practicing going for goals. Like, in championship games you will get 2 or 3, as Roscommon proved against Mayo, and you have to take them. And then when they come, like, they make a huge difference in championship games. So we weren't really practicing one-on-ones and goals or anything, but these lads are able to score goals. It's just that we didn't finish them off correctly the last day in the league final. But again, Colin Reid could have had one of his best games probably ever in a Mayo shirt. So we weren't really focused on goals, but we do focus on our clinical ability when we do get a chance that we have to take them, yeah.
Okay, you take positives from creating those chances?
Oh, you can, yeah. You can of course, yeah. Definitely, yeah.
And just where I was coming, it's obviously different obstacle. Everyone knows the way they set up against Mayo, and probably everyone bring plenty of numbers behind the ball this weekend. Yeah,
they probably will. We had them here in the league, sure, this year as well, and the championship last year. While the personnel hasn't changed, they probably changed under Davey a little bit as to the way they play. Like, but look, it's going to be a difficult task for us. But we're hoping that we have enough up front to break down that blanket and obviously keep keep them forwards at bay as well, because there's some really good individual players as well, like, and they rarely turn the ball over, so they're well drilled and well coached, and we're going to be probably heading down the stretch a tight game with them 5 or 6 minutes to go, and you'll be hoping you get the breaks on the day to see you over the line.
And just with the provincial championship, there's a lot being talked about it this year. Doesn't mean as much, I presume.
I don't know. Look at the people talking about that. I think it's rubbish talk, to be honest. I think the provincials are probably more important this year than any other year, because you win your provincial championship, you're in as a seed 1 in the groups, whereas I'd rather be a seed 1 than a seed 3. You know, that's all I know into it. So I think the people that talk about it are probably just trying to gloss over the fact that they've lost their championship, trying to get a positive spin on the fact that they've lost the first round of the championship or second round, whatever they've done. But I think the provincials are very, very important, and I think you'll see that Sunday probably in Roscommon. I'm sure thinking the same.
Shane, you able to review the defence?
Yeah, no, it's because we all did. Yeah, look, disappointed on the day we didn't perform kind of the levels we'd like to be at, and yeah, look, we've to dip our wounds after a little bit, I suppose, go away, spend the time in the training camp as well, and help us go over a lot of areas, and you do cover a lot of time, because you're literally spending every minute with each other and be able to have those conversations. And yeah, no, fairness, like, the big thing is just to learn from now and pick it up. And like we saw when we came home, obviously you see the Roscommon Mayo game, like Mayo had got the chance to start and miss them, and Roscommon took their chances. So like that's the nature of the game these days. It's not going to be keep involved in it.
Yeah, there's a lot made in the post-match analysis of you kicking yours after down on your left foot. I suppose it's easy to say in hindsight when you've seen you kick more the bar, and there'll be no talk about it, but in your head there's never way up that I should have done on your right, or is there probably
No, said I practice the way I practice, so like I'm not going to be outside noise in the day. So like I do my practice the way I do my practice, and I go with whatever way I feel on the day. And I said, unfortunately for me, I probably a bit of rustiness and lack of practice in it probably let me down on the day, but I won't be letting that happen again.
Is this the strongest college squad you've ever been part of?
Oh, 100%. I was not there to a few lads like in the last 2 weeks, like just even the condition we're in, like John, that's a credit to Jonathan Keane, the lads like that they have the lads in, like there's a huge squad there physically and like both strength wise and unearthed a few massive men, even like John Maher there's actually in this year as well. You already add them into like some Matty, he's come on, like he's still only he's still 22 years of age, like so, and yet though he's been on the squad a couple of years, so yeah, it's a great place to be in as a player, to be part of a squad like this. And obviously each year now we've kind of been playing together where the standards have kind of been demanding a bit more training as well, and obviously we're well aware how close we were last year, but there's a bit of that that's trying to get in this year.
Let's just off the bar there. How confident are you with the strength of the panel at the moment compared to even, say, this time 12 months ago? Because while you lost a couple of guys at the end of last year, I suppose the lads who were there have had the benefit of a really good championship campaign, getting to the All-Ireland, have a lot of experience, and a few lads who come in during the league have done well. So I suppose looking at the squad you have and into the first round of the championship, do you think you're further on than say this time last year?
It's hard to know. You don't know how your squad is like till you get stuck in champion. Like last year, for example, we felt with a great squad. It's just that a bit was made of it because of the final, the way the semi-final that our lads come off the bench didn't score. But like we lads come off the bench last year in the quarter-final, semi-final, made huge impacts on the game. But as of this year, we lost it. Liam has gone away. Kieran had a bad injury. But like all we can do is try and get who wants to play in front of us and see who's good enough for it. In our eyes, we have the best 40 footballers available in Galway in Motus, so we will know whether or not that's true or not down the line. It's very hard to answer that question until we actually get stuck in championship and you'll be a point or two down with 5 or 6 minutes to go and get a man off the bench to rescue you out of that.
Well, another long-term is like Sean and Kieran, how close are they?
They're good at, like Sean has made brilliant progress the last probably 2 months, 8 weeks. He's back training with us lightly. He's not in full training yet, but he's made a remarkable recovery from the nasty break he had in his kneecap. And Kieran said he'd be back long before the 9 months, and he's actually back doing a bit of straight line running, which is a great sign for him. So all in all, the next 3 or 4 weeks will be huge for Kieran to get him back on the pitch and train again. So while initially you would have thought he wouldn't see action for the summer, I think it's heading away now where he's a good chance of seeing action later in the year, provided we're still involved. Sorry?
Is there a chance we see Sean?
Yeah, if he's progressing the way he's progressing, like he should be okay later in the year, provided we're still obviously involved. It's different. Like long-term injuries are funny ones because like when they get back, like they're back to level of fitness, but are they at the championship match fitness? Is a slight day between training with us and playing match championship, so we have to be careful that as well. We don't rush them back too soon as well.
Is that why you're keen for the lads to play club football? Is there Sean Sherrill played? I think I was Sean, people like that.
Yeah, no, Sean needed a game like. I'd be always conscious that lads that are in with us, like what we don't want here is like those lads on 26 on league squads. We don't want the 14 that's in here that they can play, not making the squad and then not playing football at all. So we do release lads back to the club as much as we can, and we will continue to do that over the summer as well. Lads that need games to help them, they're better off playing a club game besides doing a transition with us here some days anyway. So it's I'd be keen for them to get the game time into their belt. Definitely, we've a couple more now as well come back from injuries who will be the coach of the club as well when the club games happen over the next month or so.
Alright, how do you feel about the match day 26 has been published early on Friday? Now it's great for us, but a couple of managers have been critical of it. It's a bit funny when you're training Friday night. It's difficult, because you don't know what way lads are going to show up after the week. I don't know. There's a massive fascination about the match teams. I don't know why they can't just name a squad and work off that or something. But there's no one trying to. I know there is certain counties that do try, and certain managers try to be chopping and changing and trying to outsmart someone. But we've never done it. We've never going to publish a team that don't start. We've went this year. We're playing. I think it was it Monaghan or I forget who we're playing, and Paddy Kelly and Ian Burke injured in the warm up. Like, straight away. 32 changes a week to make, and all of a sudden we were being accused of all sorts after the game. But it's funny. It's a funny one. Like, I don't know why Croke Park needed on a Thursday morning at 9 o'clock to get it out, but that's. Again, I'm here to abide by the rules, not to make them, so it's in, so I have to do it. But there is, in fairness to them, at least they've given us 4 extra players this year, number 26 to 30, in case there is injuries between the Thursday morning and Sunday, to make changes, provided we have the right information to go with it, so we can swap lads in now, which is no harm. What do you make of the calendar in terms of the way it is in black and white at the minute?
Not that I can do about it. I've asked this question 40 times before, and I just play what's there. Like the Connacht Championship is on now Sunday for us, and we were ready. That was our date in our mind from the start of the year to be ready for that. And if we were kind of fine in 2 weeks' time, we'll do a bit of that as well. And same with the round robin. There's never everyone going to be happy. So my opinion doesn't really matter what the calendar is. It's there in black and white. People can complain about it, but my job is to make sure the lads are ready for each day on those calendars.
What did you make of New York? So next year there's a couple
of like people say it was a huge surprise, but it wasn't really, because they've been pushing close over the years. We were lucky to scare ourselves there back in 2010, I think, when Joe Kerner was involved. And Leitrim were lucky over there a couple of years ago. Sligo were lucky probably last year, and they were going to win the game at some stage. They wouldn't keep losing them, so it was a big probably downer for Leitrim to lose over there, being the first ones. But it's not a huge surprise to me, to be honest. No. And again, if they do damage again on Saturday, it probably won't help either. But you'd imagine that Sligo will be a bit more down the track than them.
A few good Galway lads making a big impact.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, 2 good lads there. Yeah, Adrian and Owen Kerner's done well. Yeah, Johnny, we never had him with the stick, but we never had him, so we look at him for next year maybe.
More for Shane here, I suppose, as a player. Weeks like this must be really enjoyable to be involved. If the winter's slog behind you and you've day out to day outside, looking forward to the start of the championship, and hopefully the ball will be flying off the ground, and it's probably the date that's in your head from the time you go back training in the winter, and it's fast approaching now, so it must be really enjoyable time to be involved.
Yeah, no, sure. Once you kind of get that extra hours a day, like you kind of feel championship football around the corner. So yeah, no, everyone's excited. Just kind of get playing again, and especially the only way to put a defeat behind you as well is to get out and win your next game. Like, so, and that's what we're going to try and do this Roscommon. Like, but it's great. Championship is where everyone wants to be, and obviously you're ready for championship because championship is ready for you. So yeah, we'll see where we're at now on Sunday. I think we're in a good spot. I think the training we've done the last while, everyone's working hard. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what our team's like Sunday.
Just with that, with New York, obviously the Galway lads involved, but it's a bit of a vested interest in maybe New York and Sligo for you now. Obviously, be good friends with Adrian Bailey, and he's involved with that New York team.
Yeah, no, in fairness, it's great for lads like Joe. Like they've obviously made their ways over there, and Joe, they were part of that team as well that won. And Joe, more than person, like I'm not hugely surprised if you look at the caliber of players they have. Like there's not too many county teams that have those players. Never mind just one team in Connacht. Like so, yeah, no, it's great. But obviously, my best interest at the moment will be Sunday against Roscommon, because there's no point watching Sligo New York and then getting beaten by Roscommon because we won't have to worry about them then. So yeah, no, it's firmly 2 eyes on Roscommon.
I suppose it's one thing you don't think you'll never really against Roscommon. It's a handy game. It's always very, very physical and tough, and I suppose you'll be expecting more of the same on Sunday.
Yeah, no, exactly. The league, it speaks for itself. Like 3 top teams were Connacht teams, and Roscommon back to the beginning against Mayo there, like exactly where they're at. And Davy Burke and Mark McEwen, them have done a great job with them this year so far, and their tails are going to be up as well for Sunday as well, and rightly so. Like they're every right in that kind of conversation. So yeah, we're going to win. We're going to have our homework done, and we'll see if it's good enough on the day. And chat to us, we're going to find out if you're ready or not.
Shane, we saw the Martin goal on Sunday, big moment like that. Like as a forward, how important is it to maybe take risks sometimes? Obviously the man beside you wouldn't be too happy with them moving the right way, but is there sometimes you just have to take a risk and go for the jugular, or would it, what would you have done in that situation?
Probably what I would have done, probably would just carry it into the back post. There was an option back post there, so that would probably be my first instinct, because if there's not too many times you get in behind the defence these days, so when the goal chance comes along, you try to make it happen. I know obviously you're point down, but if there's a goal there for the taking, I'd be saying it's poor execution by us not to come up with a goal in a 2-1 scenario, rather than saying I'll take the safe option and take the point. So I think probably the way Ronnie O'Toole did it probably was a bit of close your eyes and put your foot through, but credit to him. I suppose that's the nature when you're young and in your first game in a county jersey, that you just go with the adrenaline, and fairness to him, it came off for him, kudos to him.
We saw David Clifford during the league making comments about how frustrating it can be inside when defences are packed like that, and you did seem to drift out a wee bit during the league final, but aside from that, how frustrating can it be when you're inside sometimes and it's hard to find that bit of room?
I wouldn't say it's frustrating. It's probably just a bad habit of mine more than anything else, why I drift out, and part of the lads will be trying to beat it out for me so I do the training. But it's more just me becoming tactically more aware in the field. It's a challenge at the end of the day, because they're essentially trying to curb the threat that you pose, and obviously I'm sure David will get lots of attention as well, so he's it's a challenge and it's tough, but at times, I always say, it's a game of patience. Nearly 40-50 minutes on the clock, and you've kind of chipping away, chipping at the block. I say this, the game will probably open up, and then that's your time to really kind of, I suppose, impose yourself on the game. It's probably different to what it was when I first started playing, but look, it's a challenge, and every time you go out, it's a great to have a challenge rather than knowing what you're going to expect. So it's different kind of scenarios, and you have a different way of thinking, and it gives you a great way to try and show you how kind of smart you can be on the field as well.
Mark, do you have a tough decision to make in terms of goalkeeper selection, or is Connor
No, we don't. Every decision we make, we sit down tonight and pick the squad and see as we're going. Both of them are going well in a position that Bernie Power and Connor both are training really well. James Kane has come back from injury as well at third choice, so we're down to the two of them, Bernie and Connor. We'll make that decision tonight, and it's not a tough decision for me, no.
It's not a tough decision?
No. We do it. Any decision we ever make, Morris, is for the betterment of Galway football, so it's not a personal decision. I have the best lads available always on the pitch, to be honest, simple as that.
Padraic, do you think you've changed much as a manager since you took over in 2020? Your COVID hit and kind of turned everything upside down.
So Shane, that question. probably mellowed a bit in my old age from what I was when I started, definitely. But look, you're hoping you've changed, you're hoping you're learning as you go along, It's my 4th year of it now, so definitely preparation is getting probably tighter and all that kind of stuff, and a bit more professional up here with us, but I probably have changed a bit, but I'm hoping for the better,
How are you juggling everything with time constraints and things like that?
Yeah.
How are you managing everything with time constraints?
Yeah, if I can't manage myself, I can't manage the rest of the lads. So, now only be 40 players, you have 18, 19 in the back of me to manage as well. So, look, I'm enjoying it. It's great. And this time of the year, as you say, it's really especially looking forward to to see the lads, the effort they put in all year, and they'll be like wild animals let out on Sunday. Hopefully, they'll get their just rewards for the effort they put into it. And that's for me, it's pleasing when we go out and perform on the pitch. And again, when we don't win it, I take full responsibility for when we don't win games, and probably the most down of them all, I'd say, when you don't, because you just see the effort the lads put into it, and it's disappointing when they don't get out of it what they should get out of it. But again, that's us to sort out to make sure that our performance levels don't dip even in training all week long, that we just block out the outside noise, because you do find lately there is a lot of people out there telling you who to pick and how to pick them and where to pick them. But again, we have to keep our heads down, and everyone's going to have an opinion, and I'd never ever stop anyone with an opinion, so that's just the way it is. And I mightn't agree with it half the time, but in the day they're entitled to it and they can give it, but we have to just focus on ourselves and make sure that we do what's best for Galway football.
And are you conscious of sheltering the lads from that?
No, I don't shelter them from anything. No, we have our stuff, have our conferences out chatting away. I don't ever stop any fella from doing what they should be doing. And the lads do loads of promotion stuff. There's never never a hope. I can't stop. I can't dictate where to go. You know, I only have them maybe 10-12 hours a week between Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday mornings. You know, so where the lads go themselves after that is I can't control that. But I know at this stage the lads themselves do avoid certain people and certain places to go because listen to a lot of noise outside. Somebody's going to stick, like, you know.
Yeah, and James, have you found that gotten worse when you saw the legal statement after the chairman said after New York came out, the stuff that was going on social media around that, and I suppose maybe it was always there from yourself, but have you seen that getting worse in the last few years?
You probably see it more a lot worse, I suppose. Yeah, because like it's near the end and it's kind of central to the news these days. It's never really too good, like. But yeah, look, I think like the squad, like Joe done with the squad and like the players we have, like the only way we can impact is on the training field. So like, you know, all the outside noise, you're going to have 100 different opinions. Like if you asked to go into outside, we asked 10 lads to pick a team, I guarantee they won't have the same 15 players playing. So like, you know, what do you make of that? All I say is what we do in the training ground is the most important because we're the ones that kind of know what the work has been, what work has been done in training to go out and perform. Like as I said, I couldn't for not in the day what somebody says out in the street and all this doesn't really matter too much. Like you have your nearest to dear, as I always say. Like my family knows obviously at this stage they never get too much out of me, but after the game, so they'll have the quiet word with me. But other than that, sure, you listen to your management, you listen to the lads in the dressing room because they're the lads you're spending this year all your time with. You know, so I don't spend my time down in any pub or any street just to have a conversation about how things are going.
Just on that, like players, like everyone get criticised, and there's no issue with that. But when they start getting personal with people, that's when the trouble starts. Because you have to remember, any inter-county player, whether they're Leitrim, Galway, Dublin, Kerry, like they're not in it to make a fortune of money. Like they're in it to play for their club, for their family, for their county, and it is disappointing when people who get personal. Attacks, you could say on it, you know what I mean? But like we all get criticised for stuff we do, and that's fine. But when it gets personal, that's where the nasty part comes out of it. You don't like any fella or any footballer going home, whether it's camogie players or ladies football or whatever, going home and having to listen to that being read out to them from their family or reading that about them. It's not nice because the people that's writing that don't understand the efforts and that everyone does. Like, and nowadays it's gone so professional that you're watching your diet and you're really watching everything like 24/7 what you're doing for football. It's not. Unfortunately, we can't control it, but you can control how you react to it.
Shane, do you have to help younger fellas in the panel with that? Because they might be exposed to that type of stuff for the first time. Is that a factor at all?
I wouldn't say so. I think they obviously we have our own, I suppose, our own conversations as a group, as players, even and that's kind of all kind of trashed out there. So that's kind of know kind of where we're at as a group. Like in fairness, that comes from our script, like Sean, very good leads by example in that regard. And that is if ever the support needed. Obviously, that's I suppose straight away easier point of contact to go to for if but it is kind of very open, I suppose, in our regard to between management and players to be able to go each other if someone is kind of feeling pressure in some way or another. But I think we have it fairly well under control as much as we can. Obviously, like I said, you can't listen to the noise that's out there. Like I said, no one understands kind of the effort that players are putting into it, because some lads are going away from training to put in maybe an extra gym session, an extra running session, working really hard and the diet, and no one, people will throw a cheap comment out there and they have no awareness of what that player has done to try and get to that level. I said, you listen to your nearest and dearest, and that's usually your family and the lads you train with every night, and that's all that matters.
The Backdoor GAA Podcast for 2023 is now brought to you by Steede Motor Group. For your personalised vehicle shopping experience, visit steedemotorgroup.ie. We are now delighted to announce our second sponsor of the podcast. Harper Finlay are a professional service recruitment company operating nationwide and are dedicated to helping people find their dream job.